Sagittarius, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, I want to say thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I love you. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm JT. Welcome to Steampunk Psyche. We're going to get into a general reading again today. Like I tell everybody, I appreciate the effort and sticking around. I don't placate to these cards. I kind of just read them as I see them. So if the energy fits with you, cool. If it doesn't, just leave it for somebody else, okay? I'm going to give you the down low on the cards. I'll shuffle up and we'll get started on your reading, okay? Sagittarius, we're going to take a look at your present energy. We're going to look at the foundation, what's lying underneath perhaps. We're going to look at the recent past. We're going to look at the possibilities, the near future. We're going to look at the self, how you're showing up. We're going to take a look at the environment around you, maybe some energies that are around you. We're going to look at hopes, fears, wishes, or worries. And then we will end up with an outcome and a direction. I will clarify the cards along the way if I need to. I'll show you the cards. Okay, Sagittarius. Okay, let's lay them out and see what's going to take place here. Okay, Sagittarius, I'm going to take a look at these cards real quick. And while I'm doing that, I am going to show you the 3 new Haiku Corner poems. Okay, Sagittarius, we are back. I've been looking at your cards. I'm going to show you the down low, and then we will get into this reading for you, okay? Okay, what we're looking at is your present energy right here, okay? We've got the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups represents this, this energy that you're being emotionally open, okay? The cup in her present there is the covered cup, so it talks about deep emotions. All right, but I kind of get the sense that maybe you're emotionally just really tired. You're giving off this intuitive softness, but you're also side eyeing someone. Okay, and they keep pulling on your heartstrings, right? You know, maybe you're catching feelings for someone who's inconsistent. You're trying to stay emotionally mature, you know, and the other person maybe might be acting a little avoidant. You're kind of like that therapist friend, right? And it's just draining the hell out of you. I kind of get the sense like you're definitely craving some intimacy here, okay? You know, but you're protecting your heart. Maybe someone might be like reading into your posts or something like that, watching some stories, watching your responses to things, maybe following your friends to see what you post. But but they're not actually stepping up. Okay. Now in the challenge, we've got the wheel. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. Focus in there, camera. Sorry about that, you guys. So timing is definitely the issue here. Okay. The universe is moving, but the person you want is moving slower than the old school dial-up, right? Not really taking the initiative here is what I'm getting, right? You're kind of waiting on that next text that should have been sent days ago. Talks about cycles, so you're just stuck in a cycle with someone who's kind of like unwilling to budge. They're not really moving forward, right? So it could be talking about you maybe trying to force something that needs to unfold naturally here. That's also the kind of vibe. Could be dealing with any of the fixed signs, right? So Aquarius, Leo, right? Scorpio, Taurus. But I mean, it doesn't have to apply, but that could be part of that. Anyway, you're resisting somewhat of a change that could actually maybe set you free in this situation, is what this kind of tells me here. Okay. Now we're moving on into the foundation, the Emperor. Okay. It's a masculine energy here. This doesn't have to apply to gender specific. I know some pretty stubborn females who can really be in their their masculine energy. But what I'm getting is it's someone who's stubborn, controlled emotionally. They kind of got their armor up. You notice he's wearing armor there. But it's kind of like giving the energy that they're pretending like they don't care, for whatever reasons that is. I'm sure it's just an emotional instability situation, but so it's kind of like a masculine figure here, who wants you but refuses to get vulnerable with you. Definitely someone watching your social media, but they're not going to take any of the initiative to step up, right? So they kind of want to have the control of this connection without ever having to do anything, put any of the effort forward, So it's kind of like they want you to chase them. Maybe they're all logical minded, not really into their softness, not really into that, more of the spiritual side or something like that. Kind of a fixed, we are talking about Aries sign here as well. We're not judging any of the other signs, but we could be talking about Aries here. Okay. Now we move on into the recent past. And we have the 10 of Wands, okay? Or the 10 of, definitely 10 of Wands, my bad. So it's kind of like you've hit a breaking point here, maybe something ended. You mentally kind of just checked out. You blocked someone, or maybe you almost did, or attempted to do it. You're kind of just maybe going back and forth with that idea. Maybe you just realize you're just giving way too much. This could represent you like an emotional burnout or something like that, maybe seeing someone's true colors as it really is. Excuse me. But yeah, overwhelmed, overburdened, these kinds of energies in that recent past. Okay, now we're looking in the possibilities here. The possibilities. We're talking about, what could be, something like that. So this camera will focus in. The Six of Swords. So you're moving on, right? Or at least, you're moving away from this kind of chaos, or trying to block things out a little bit. You're emotionally detaching from someone who's maybe draining you, or this situation that's draining you. You're choosing your peace over your passions, right? Maybe traveling, relocating, just kind of mentally shifting out of this situation, right? Healing, sort of, from a betrayal, or at least what feels like a betrayal to you. It could be like letting go of the whole fantasy, or the idea, or the version of someone, and that's a very hard thing to do. It's especially when you care about somebody deeply, or you feel like you have such a really, deep connection with somebody, that's kind of a very hard place to be in. Okay. So now we're going to move on. We're looking at the near future here. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So this is talking about a brand new beginning, though, right? A real offer, garden in the gate, a divine offering. It could be talking about job here, money opportunities that maybe will help boost your confidence or something like that. Could be talking about a fresh start in love, one that's really grounded, not chaotic. There's different kinds of energies for the Ace of Pentacles, but yeah, and it does have the love language of somebody who really wants to build something real, something permanent, you know. Also, this, could be talking about this is just definitely a chance for you to rebuild some self worth, maybe pulling back and leaning more into yourself, right? Okay. So now we're moving on, and we are talking about the stance, how you're showing up here, and we have the Three of Pentacles. Okay. It's like you're just rebuilding your life. Kind of like the old school alchemists would talk about brick by brick. The mortar joint by mortar joint, and those are old kind of terms, but it's definitely collaboration, all right, or improving, leveling up. That glow up. You could be focusing on your career, or creative endeavors, whatever. This does represent, like I said, kind of in the Freemasons world or something. The architectural building and things. So they're just a sharing, a reciprocation of ideas. I think you're being a little more selective about maybe who you're going to let in, right? You're learning about healthier relationship patterns, things like that. Working on communication skills, right? Just really kind of like trying to manifest people who match your kind of effort that you put into things. That's what the Three of Pentacles kind of represents to me here in this situation. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the environment around you. And we have the Nine of Swords. Okay. So I got the feeling that somebody around you is very anxious. They're overthinking things, or they're losing sleep over it, right? Maybe this is that person, they regret maybe how they treated you, you know, um, someone maybe who's afraid to move on, or afraid you're moving on, moving away from them. And that's what's keeping them up. This could be that also, maybe that stalking on the social media type situation, whatever your platform you're on or whatever, maybe just doing it kind of quietly behind the scenes. This could be talking about maybe someone who's just kind of like over and over again, replaying old conversations maybe that you had, or that they should have had with you, or wanted to have with you, right? Someone just really scared to reach out. Yep. Okay. Now we have the hopes, fears, wishes, or worries category. So we do have the Hermit here. We are talking about Virgo energy, so the Virgo could be in your timeline. It doesn't have to be, but this is telling me you're just definitely wanting some clarity on this, right? But maybe you might be afraid to find out, what's going to be said, or what, which is why the Hermit, is shining the light on the situation. Maybe you're hoping someone reaches out, but, kind of like preparing in the backgrounds, for silence, or, maybe you're afraid, of repeating old patterns, or, it could be talking about you're just hoping for some emotional maturity from them, you know what I mean? Or maybe more for yourself too. It doesn't matter. But you're learning, really kind of like learning to trust your energy again, trust yourself, right? Okay. Now, in the outcome and the direction, this is a pretty important card. This is kind of like the glow up, right? This is the I'm good without you era, right? Luxury, abundance. It's kind of like I'm seeing myself finally for the first time, maybe, or um, could be talking about becoming more financially stable. emotionally self-sufficient. You attract someone new because, you're thriving, you're doing good, right? So law of attraction here takes place in that situation. You getting your confidence back. Kind of like you're realizing you were the prize the whole time, right? So what I'm kind of getting here is like, I'm kind of getting the idea that maybe you've been giving way too much energy to people, who are not being consistent. They can't even text you back, right? Sorry, I had to get a drink of coffee. Yeah, they don't have the audacity to text back or get back with you. So it's like you're done. You're done auditioning for people, for their lives, for their benefit. While everyone else is playing, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on, right? But it's kind of like your soft launch glow up era here, really. The year that you're going to stop bleeding for other people who never show up. But someone from your past is definitely watching you, but that's not really, I don't think that's your problem. I don't feel like that's what you think anymore. It's not like, I'm not losing any more sleep over it. Peace is finally louder than the mixed signals that I've been getting. So you're kind of like, I'm done waiting for this closure, right? The message should already been sent. Really just leveling up. So I feel like you just, I'm kind of like in this situation where I'm thinking to myself, what advice would I give? And it's just like, you've just spent way too long giving up to people, who treat you like you're in the background, So this is the I know who I am era, right? So, but yeah, somebody's definitely lurking in the backstory there, checking your updates, pretending they don't care, while they absolutely do. But you know what? Their regret is not your homework, right? So stop waiting for people to move at the speed of confusion. Stop shrinking to make someone else comfortable. Yeah, choose the path that feels peaceful for you. You're not being too much. You're just, kind of realizing that I am enough. You know, don't negotiate that, right? Anyway, so the real story here, I think, is just basically your glow up era, is what I'm getting at. I kind of feel like, if there is a love story, it's about you, Sagittarius. It really is. And the bad part is you can't control what other people do, and that sucks. It's sometimes you just want to put a spell on them, right? You want to take the wand and yeah, that was my wand. But don't, because karma is absolute, and that never works anyway. And besides that, you wouldn't want to force somebody into a situation that they, you know what I mean? You don't want somebody scared and confused in your life. You want permanency. You want somebody knowing what the hell they want. And you want to be chosen. You don't want to be an option. So, Sagittarius, I love you so very much. I hope maybe this gave you some kind of clarity, some kind of an insight on what you should do. If you enjoyed the video, would you mind giving it a thumbs up? If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscription. Don't forget to hit your notifications, okay? Anyway, I love you, I respect you, and I hope I get to see you on the next readings. All right, bye-bye.